Thundersport Plus at Anglesey. It's the GP1, Steve's on the grid.
Race 2 then of this Thundersport Plus show here on Motors TV. The GP1s are ready to roll. Michael Robertson is looking to get the better of Phil Crowe in this one. Just going to go to the second and third row. You can see here Angelo De Rosa, Pete Baker, the 2009 GP1 champion. And also, don't forget about the Super Twins, number 38 there, Scott Adam, getting very, very close and tasty and personal with 77 defending champion Lee Reevely.
Thanks, Steve. Yes, the wind there attacking the bikes, also attacking the microphone. Apologies for that, but there's Sid at the front. We're ready to roll with the second race for the GP1s. It's watch the lights time. Michael Robertson away from pole position down towards the first corner target, but look at the start made once again by Ian Mackman, just on the inside of Robertson. Robertson, though, could hold the line, but look at Phil Crowe, up the inside. Phil Crowe leads.
Classic block pass there from Phil Crowe. I think Robertson thought he had that one sorted. It's a great advantage if you can get around the outside into turn one, then you do have that inside line going into the banking, but he was not anticipating the arrival of Phil Crowe, defending champion, who now leads.
Yeah, I think Robertson and Mackman definitely had eyes only for each other there, and Crowe, well, he only had eyes for the front. Should mention that Peter Baker had a DNF right at the very end of the earlier race, but once again got a fairly good start. There we see, there he is just behind Joe Morris.
Yes, and mention to Alex Heaton as well of Night Road Racing. Robin had a nasty crash at Club Corner in the wet conditions, and he's clearly severely bruised around his pelvis area, and well, he's lucky to be out there.
Yes, it was a very quick and unpleasant crash indeed, but as you say, Alex is made of tough stuff, and there we see Peter Baker, tough stuff as well, but up the front, snaking under braking for the banking is Phil Crowe in the lead, and Michael Robertson just clinging on to second place there as Ian Mackman just essayed a little look up the inside. John Morris, another good ride from him in fourth place at the moment, just ahead of Peter Baker.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen a Super Twin up in the top five. I think Lee Reevely at Cadwell Park last year, his local circuit, was the closest we've seen. Before that, of course, Francis Williamson won a race outright on a Super Twin back at Donington first season, I believe. But Phil Crowe here doing just what he did in race one, really. He's pulled away from the pack on his GP1 machine. Away he goes. Robertson second, Mackman third. Morris there. Baker now is closed in on Morris. And after that crash in race one, boy, oh boy, does he need some points. Angelo De Rosa within firing range, just behind the pair also.
Leaders down through the corkscrew. Lovely stretch of circuit this. There's nothing quite like it on any other British circuit. I suppose if you could squidge up Crane of Curves at Donington, it might come close, but it really is one of the unique features of this lovely circuit on Anglesey.
Oh, and a lovely move there from Ian Mackman on the inside. Michael Robertson only left a couple of inches there, ran a little bit wide, and Ian Mackman said, thank you very much, that's all I need. He moves up into second position, does Mackman. Can he make a chase now for Phil Crowe, who was race one runaway leader? A little bit further behind, I can tell you, Jamie Wilkins is making good progress. Peter Wilson, Jenny Tinmouth, Buckley, Lewis, Scott Adam is once again ahead of Lee Reevely in the Super Twin battle for second and third.
Yes, good tussle between the two of them, but of course Joe Morris is right up here with the overall leaders and well away at the head of the Super Twins. But Michael Robertson, really stylish rider. There we see Lee Reevely. Lee having this tussle with Scott Adam.
Yes, he's sponsored by E2E Solutions, and he's chasing Night Road Racer Scott Adam at the moment. There'll only be a couple of points, I think, between them if things stand as they are before they head into Cadwell. And look how Ian Mackman has pulled back Phil Crowe at the front, and Michael Robertson only needs to find a couple of yards more, and he may well be up there in the running for a win as well.
Yes, these GP1 races, of course, longer than most on the Thundersport GB bill, along with the 600s. They get more laps, and it really does. I like the longer races. It certainly bridges the gap between any sort of club level racing and British Championship racing, and is what makes the Thundersport GB racing so unique, and it does give riders a chance to work past a few mistakes. And look at this, Ian Mackman has done that. He's worked his way past Phil Crowe. He's up into the lead, caught and passed, and Michael Robertson is champing at the bit there. He's all over the rear tyre of Phil Crowe.
Oh, I'm not sure if Phil Crowe's got any problems or not. He was posting some lap times in the 109s. He's fallen into the 110s now, and as a result, he's moved down to third, and this would only put a handful of points between Mackman and Crowe for the overall title. And of course, Ian Mackman will be making his way over to the TT soon. There's Jamie Wilkins going through just ahead of Jenny Tinmouth, and then there's Scott Adam. No, that's Alex
Eaton, yep. And the leaders now, look at this. Michael Robertson, having got past Phil Crowe, as we saw, you can only imagine Phil is wrestling with some problem. He's a doughty competitor. He doesn't give up places easily, but they rode past him, and Phil, I think, is probably working as hard as ever he's worked on that bike, simply to maintain, yeah, you can see him looking there, simply to maintain that third place. He knows that one of his closest rivals, Peter Baker, is fourth behind him.
You have to remember, of course, this is one of the most competitive championships. I mean, the front end pace is matching that of British Superbike Evo, and Phil Crowe had that big accident not so long ago. Maybe he's feeling the effects as this is the last race of the weekend. Peter Baker has just got, well, he's got past Joel Morris, and he is starting to pull back Phil Crowe here.
Yep, and as you said earlier, it is desperately important after a DNF in the earlier race for Peter Baker to pick up some good points here. He will be eyeing the back of Phil Crowe's leathers with great interest now. We see further back down the field, number 21 going through there is Chris Barnes.
Yeah, just had Scott Adam up ahead of him there. But, well, here we see Charlie Flett just being lapped by Michael Robertson, the Scotsman who's had a fabulous weekend, certainly his best weekend to date with Thundersport GB. Crowe there in third position. A bit further back, there's Wilkins and Alex Heaton battling it out for the remaining Superstock positions. Jamie Wilkins, of course, current Street Fighter A champion. There's Jenny Tinmouth, and Shea Burton's in the mix also. And then the Super Twin battle just a little bit further behind. Greg Lewis, experienced rider, also in and amongst the top 10.
Well, it's been a fantastic hot pace up the front. Ian Mackman at the moment leads it from Michael Robertson. There he is, number 99 in second place, and we could just see Phil Crowe is dropping away, but more to the point, Steve, Peter Baker closing mightily on Phil Crowe. He could just nick that third place before the end of this.
Yeah, 2010 champion versus 2009 champion, and well, it's quite a surprising statistic and not one that comes off often. This would be Peter Baker's first podium of the year.
Yes, indeed. There we see Jenny Tinmouth chasing hard there, and she's been in good spirits this weekend, Steve. She's really enjoying herself out there in GP1 and getting some much-needed miles under her belt.
Yes, it's been very difficult for her so far this season, and well, all the miles she can get, certainly she'll get enough of them with Thundersport GB. Good to have her out on the grid with us again. Of course, she's won a few Formula 600 races with us, but well, what can you say about Ian Mackman here? He's going to go to the TT, and we wish him the best of luck, of course, with that. But brilliant stuff from him to get past Phil Crowe, pull away from the threats of Michael Robertson. And Ian Mackman, not only does he extend his championship lead in the Superstock Thousands, but he closes up the gap to Phil Crowe.
And there's been a right old battle behind. We could see Sid with the flag out there. Ian Mackman takes the win. Michael Robertson crosses in second. But it is going to be Peter Baker, who just at the end there gets up into third. And that will put a smile back on the Peter Baker visage. He needs a bit of a smile after his troubles over the first few rounds. Ian Mackman the win, Michael Robertson second, Peter Baker third, Phil Crowe fourth, Joel Morris fifth. And there we see Ian Mackman being flanked by Michael Robertson and Peter Baker. In the standings, well, Phil Crowe still has it from Ian Mackman. Michael Robertson third, Peter Baker fourth, Alex Heaton fifth, and John Ingram in sixth place. And on the podium, well, for the Superstocks, there we see Ian Mackman in between Michael Robertson and Angelo De Rosa. There's the standings. Mackman leads them from Alex Heaton, Angelo De Rosa, Jamie Wilkins fourth, Michael Robertson fifth, and Mark Newland in sixth.